Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross and I was always told I had a voice for radio, so today I'm telling you all about Amiibos. Now, by far the most popular video on this channel, Wattspy Plays, to date has been my list of top 10 rarest and most expensive Amiibos. So I figured, seeing as people like me talking about Amiibos, let's make another Amiibo video. Now, you will notice that my Amiibo wall is not here today. I'm still stuck in my jail cell of a room, but I've got my Mama Swine and it's going to be okay, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be okay. Now, first we should probably have a quick look at the Amiibos that have to date been released. Now, the vast majority of them, by far the largest set, has been the Super Smash Bros. Amiibos. It has been announced by Nintendo that all Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS characters, playable characters, will be getting their own Amiibo, so that's where the most of them are coming from up to now. But we've also seen a Nintendo collection of Amiibos featuring characters like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, and so on. We've seen a limited run of 3 Splatoon Amiibos, as well as 3 different colours of Yarn Yoshi for Yoshi's Woolly World. And we have seen an announcement that there's going to be just a one-off Chibi Robo Amiibo and a one-off 8-bit Mario Amiibo, although that's coming in 2 different designs, so maybe one-off is a tiny bit of a misnomer, that are going to be released with those respective games. So I'm going to be looking today at the top 5 Amiibos that I think Nintendo should go ahead and make. And in at number 5 we have Bayonetta. Now, for anyone thinking, well, hang on a second, Bayonetta isn't a Nintendo character, you are absolutely correct, but neither's Pac-Man or Sonic. And they've had their own Amiibos. Ryu from Street Fighter, who is a Capcom character, is getting his own Amiibo, so we're off the hook. Quick brownie point question, who actually does own the copyright in Bayonetta? I'll give you a second. It is Platinum Games. Now, the next game they're releasing is going to be Scalebound on the Xbox One, which looks frankly phenomenal, but we are focused on Bayonetta. Now, Bayonetta was released for the Xbox 360 and then re-released on the Nintendo Wii U, and the sequel, Bayonetta 2, was released as an exclusive for the Nintendo Wii U. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I think we should have a Bayonetta Amiibo. We don't have a huge amount of third-party exclusives at the moment. What I mean by that is exclusives that are made by outside companies that are only released on one particular console. It's very easy for Nintendo to make a Mario game and only release it on the Nintendo Wii U or the Nintendo 3DS because they own the copyright. But Platinum Games own the copyright to Bayonetta, so releasing it only on the Nintendo Wii U is quite a coup. Think of something like the new Tomb Raider game, which is coming out for the Xbox One, not the PlayStation 4, but only for the first year, and then it will be out on the PlayStation 4. This is a proper job exclusive for Nintendo, and that is why I believe that Bayonetta should be an Amiibo. The question is, how do we release such an Amiibo? Now, the obvious one would be, just like the 8-bit Mario or the Chibi Robo Amiibo, let's just release it as a one-off special edition, buy the game, get a free Amiibo. Well, that doesn't quite work because the game came out quite a while ago. How about downloadable content for Smash Brothers? We've already seen downloadable content in the form of Mewtwo, and let's face it, characters like Sonic and Pac-Man and Ryu have been in Super Smash Bros. And not been Nintendo characters, so let's start the hype train now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have Bayonetta 2 as downloadable content, or Bayonetta as downloadable content from the game Bayonetta 2, and let's have our very own Amiibo. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Amiibo that I want most, or at least the 5th most. Coming in at number 4, we have Wattspy Woods, or as I like to call him, the Kirby Tree Boss. Now, I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail about him. I made a video all about him. I will pop a link to said video in the description for this particular video. But he is the most prolific of the Kirby bosses, and we've already had a couple of Kirby bosses released as Amiibos. I'm thinking King Dedede and Meta Knight. It is Wattspy Woods' turn, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to be completely fair, they were released as characters because, as I said, all of the characters from Super Smash Bros. Are getting their own Amiibo. Dedede and Meta Knight were playable in Smash Bros. Hence, they get their own Smash Bros. Amiibo. And Wattspy Woods was a stage in Smash Bros. Rather than a playable character, so can't even be released as DLC. So what are we going to do? How about a range of Kirby amiibos? We've only had DDD, Meta Knight and Kirby. Why don't we have a whole Kirby range of amiibos? We can have a whole host of colourful Kirbys like we saw with the Yoshi's Woolly World amiibos. But we can also have ones like Waddle Dee. He hasn't had his own amiibo, ladies and gentlemen, and although he doesn't make the top 5 list, Wattspy Woods does, I think we can all agree that both Wattspy Woods and Waddle Dee are deserving of amiibos, and that's why they come in at number 4. Now, I genuinely think that numbers 5 and 4 I have been very objective and given really sensible suggestions for amiibos that Nintendo actually should make. Now, I'd like to say that about number 3 as well, but I'm being a little bit biased. It's Guile from Street Fighter, or more accurately, Street Fighter 2. We've already seen Ryu in Super Smash Bros. That means he's getting his own amiibo. Not a problem. Why don't we have more Smash Bros. Street Fighter characters? Let's have them as DLC. Why not, ladies and gentlemen? Capcom have already said, oh, fine then, you can have one of our characters in Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Is awesome, let's have more of them. My personal favourite is Guile, but from my understanding, Guile is also a very popular Street Fighter character. He's in almost every iteration of the game, so why don't we have a Guile amiibo and a Guile to play as in Super Smash Bros. I think that would be a wonderful idea. But please, let's not have Ken. It's just Ryu with different colour hair and a different gi. We don't need him. I know he's popular. He's just Ryu. We don't need Ken. But Guile, he comes in at number 3. In at number 2, we have what might be, not my favourite suggestion. If it was my favourite suggestion, it would be number 1. But certainly, I think the most sensible of my suggestions, let's have a range of Mario Kart amiibos. Now, the Super Smash Bros. Amiibos are really fun. You buy a Super Smash Bros. Amiibo of your favourite character, you train it up, and then you can fight it. And it creates a nice little challenge to the game. You train up your amiibos, and then you see if you can take them down. It adds a fun little dimension to the game. Let's have that for Mario Kart. Now, I know we've got time trials, and you can set a time trial, and then you can... No. I want to be able to train a racer to race like me. Think the Drivatars in the Forza series for the Microsoft Xbox, but for Mario Kart. Let me buy a Mario Kart amiibo of my favourite Mario character, or Mario Kart character, because they're not all Mario characters nowadays. Let me train it up, let me race it, let me beat it. That would add... I don't play Mario Kart that much anymore, because I've gone through and completed all the cups and had a few online races, and I've had my fill. This would get me back playing the game again. It would be awesome. And... now, I know you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, that's something they could just pop in the game, why do we need amiibos? Because amiibos are cool. We buy them because they're fun little figures, and most of the people watching this video probably own amiibos, and although some of you probably bought them for functionality as well, I'm willing to bet the vast majority, if not all of you watching this video, have bought amiibos because they're just downright cool. And let's face it, Nintendo haven't exactly been shy about releasing Mario Kart paraphernalia and merchandise. You can get all kinds of Mario Kart toys and pull back and go cars and models and t-shirts, etc. So let's have a range of amiibos, let's have some really fun functionality, let's make me play Mario Kart again. Do it, Nintendo, I dare ya. And in at number 1, for the amiibo that I think Nintendo should make the most, i.e. the one that they should quite frankly get themselves in gear and go and make right now, is Mamoswine. Now, I am biased on this. I have a Mamoswine. He accompanies me on my videos when I don't have my amiibo wall. If you check out my Pokemon channel, PTCG Radio, you will note there is a Mamoswine in the logo. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a biased opinion. But you could just think of this as more Pokemon amiibos. And we've had a few. We've had Pikachu, we've had Lucario, Charizard, we've had Greninja, we've had Jigglypuff, and we're going to be getting Mewtwo. Because, as I said, he's in Smash Bros. As a playable character, we're going to be getting one. But there's like hundreds of Pokemon, so let's have more of them, and let's have a Mamoswine. Now, in terms of how they should release the Mamoswine, I have an idea for this. There is a game, Pokken, coming out. It is a game produced by Namco, the people what went and made Tekken, and it is a one-on-one fighting game starring Pokemon characters. Now, Mamoswine hasn't been released, but we've got Suicune, who goes on 4 legs. Let's have another 4-legged quadruped, if you will. Fighter, let's have a Mamoswine. And there's no reason that fighters cannot be added into fighting games in this day of DLC. Ladies and gentlemen, it happens all the time. And there have been rumours swirling around, although I don't know it's quite been confirmed yet. Now, what I can say is patents have been filed for NFC, near field communication, and that is a technology which powers Amiibos. So we don't know that Amiibos are coming in Pokken, but we do know that patents have been filed, which suggests that some form of Amiibo-like device is going to be used. Now, it could be something like a keyring or a card, but it could be Amiibos. And let's face it, it's Nintendo. It's gonna be Amiibos. Let's have a playable Mamoswine in Pokken. Let's have a Mamoswine Amiibo. That, ladies and gentlemen, would make me very happy. And I give you my vow now that if that does happen, I will play Pokken until my fingers bleed and become the best Mamoswine player in the world. And I will do that, and you have my word, and it's recorded for all prosperity. Now, we have a comment section on YouTube. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Pop down in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, Amiibos that you would like to see Nintendo make. And you can focus on either functionality or the actual models themselves. I would like to hear all of your suggestions. Thank you very much for watching this video as always. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you get a friend to subscribe if you already have done so, and make sure you check out my other videos. I've got some fun Amiibo videos, but I like to think all of my videos are quite good. I'm personally particularly proud of my Hidden Cruelty videos. I've done them for Yoshi's Woolly World and for Pikmin 3, so check those bad boys out. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back with more video game related content in the very near future. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wattspy Plays.